Here's part 1 of your Chapter 4 study guide. Write all of the correct responses for the slope of each line on the space provided. When I look at number 1, I see a horizontal line. That indicates a 0 slope. But it does say select all the correct responses. So are any of these other answers equivalent to 0? I'm looking at B, because it rises 0, but it could run 3 units. So number 1 is A and B. 0 divided by 3 is also 0. For question number 2, I can see that the line is showing a positive slope. So I know that it can't be letter B. I also noticed that there are no lattice points in the drawing, so I'm going to put them in and then create a right triangle, rise over run. It rises 1 block, but each block has a value of 2. It runs 5 spaces. So my slope is rise 2 and run 5. But again, I'm looking for all the correct responses. 2 over 5 is not the same as 5, but 4 over 10 would reduce to 2/5. So C is also an answer choice. The same directions are for question 3. The red line on my picture here is negative, so I can eliminate the positive slopes. Then I'm going to make a right triangle and rise and run. Rise, run. Then I can count my units. It looks like the y-axis is skip counting by 2s, and the x-axis, every 2 blocks, is equivalent to 1. So let's see how this plays out. When I skip count by 2s, it rises 18. The same directions are for question 3. When I look at the red line, I can see that this is a negative slope. So I can eliminate both choices for A and C because those are positive. The rise and run looks a little bit tricky, but it looks like every 2 blocks has a value of 1. Let me draw the right triangle. So then when I count, every 2 blocks is 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It rises 4 and runs backwards 1, 2, 3, 4. And our slope is negative. So that's choice B. And this would simplify to -1. So our other choice is D. So B and D. You could also use the ordered pairs to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 if you wanted to verify the slope. For question 4 and 5, we are asked to use the ordered pairs to find the slope. So we're going to use the formula delta y over delta x, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm going to label my ordered pairs and sub it into the formula to solve. So y2 is 2 minus 3, and then x2 is 1 minus 5. When I solve this, I get -1 over -4, and a negative over a negative is a positive. So you should get 1/4 for number 4. We'll do the same thing for number 2. Label, sub in the formula, and solve. So I've labeled everything, and then we follow the formula. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, and then just be careful with your integers here. We get -6 over 7 for the slope. For question 6, use the given slope and the y-intercept of a line to write an equation in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form means y equals mx plus b. So we just have to fill in the m and the b in the equation. The m is given to us, so I take out the letter m and put in 2/3 x plus b, and the b is -4. And that's all there is to it. Fill in the m and fill in the b. For the next one, it says write an equation of a line that's parallel to y equals -2x minus 7. A parallel line would have the same slope. So we keep the slope, and then we choose what y-intercept we want. So you can put any value in here that you wish. I'm going to put in 3. Y equals -2x plus 3. That's the y-intercept will be your choice. So this could be 3, 4, 5, 7, 0, 1, -2, whatever you want it to be. It just cannot be the one that's given to you, which is -7. For question 8, you are to graph the equation on the graph. Y equals mx plus b tells us to begin at the b, which is the y-intercept. So we're going to mark a point at -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then from that point, our slope is 1/3. We rise and run. We rise 1 and run 3. And we should do that again. Rise 1, run 3. And I would even do it a few more times to fill up the graph. You could also reverse the order. Drop 1 and go back 3. At the minimum, you should have 3 points. Then connect them with a line and arrows. Then double check everything. Did we begin at -5? And is our slope rise 1 and run 3, a positive slope? The same directions for number 9. Y equals 2x plus 3. And we begin at the b, which is, for this equation, +3. Begin here at +3. Our slope is 2, but we need rise over run. So we do 2 over 1. From that point, rise 2, run 1. Then do it again. Rise 2, run 1. Rise 2, run 1. We could also reverse the order. Down 2, back 1, down 2, back 1. Put a line through with arrows. Then double check everything. Did we begin in the right spot? We began at 3. And our slope is rise 2, run 1. Okay, a little bit of a twist for number 10. We know the slope is -4. And we also know that it passes through 3 and -3. I'm going to start here by plotting that point. So there it is in yellow. Now from that point, my slope is -4. I need rise over run, so I'm allowed to put a 1 underneath it. So from that point, I'm going to drop 4 and run 1. And then I would do that again. Drop 4, run 1. I could also reverse the order and rise 4 and go back 1, and then connect them with a line. So my line should look something like this. It goes through this point of 3, -3, and has a slope of 4, -1.